Janek and Sienna were a newlywed couple with bright futures ahead of them, just beginning their new phase in life. However, only 2 months later, disaster struck. They became the victims of a brutal murder case. The ruthless criminals not only plundered their possessions, but also committed heinous acts against this couple. What exactly happened? Good evening. Today's case took place in Riverside, California, located in Southern California, approximately 97 kilometers east of Los Angeles, with a population of about 320,000. It is the county seat and the largest city in the Inland Empire metropolitan area. Janek and Sienna were an affectionate couple who had just gotten married shortly before the incident. Janek was Polish, born on the 13th of March, 1984. At age 10, he immigrated to the United States with his parents, and lived in Brooklyn, New York ever since. According to his mother, Janek used to be a frail child who was somewhat introverted, but after coming to America, he changed significantly. He quickly adapted to his new environment, and became a strong and outgoing boy. He loved his adopted homeland so much that even the bed sheets and blankets in his home were adorned with American flags. In 2001, at just 17 years old, Janek experienced the 11th of September terrorist attacks, an event that deeply shook him and instilled in him a desire to serve his country. Initially, Janek's parents hesitated about their son joining the military due to concerns over danger. However, with Janek's persistent efforts, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 2003. Over the next 2 years, Janek underwent rigorous military training and was deployed to Afghanistan in 2005. At a farewell party before his deployment, he met Sienna through a friend's introduction. She was 2 years older than Janek, a recent college graduate, who grew up as an only child in Ontario, California. After returning from duty in 2006, they began dating and married on the 8th of August, 2008. At the time of their marriage, Janek had been transferred to Camp Pendleton in California and promoted to sergeant. They settled near the military base for convenience, full of hope for their future together, and planning to start a family. However, fate cruelly shattered these dreams. Only 2 months later, they were brutally murdered by a group of ruthless criminals. On the 15th of October, 2008, a Monday morning around 9 a.m., the Riverside County Police Department received calls from Janek and Sienna. Supervisors reporting their absence from work with unresponsive phones. Upon arrival at their residence, police found the front door partially open and an odor of mixed natural gas and gasoline. Inside they discovered scattered items and gasoline containers. In the living room near the sofa were the bodies of Janek and Sienna, both bound and gagged. Janek had been severely beaten with multiple bruises and 3 gunshot wounds to his face and back. Sienna was naked, also showing signs of severe beating and sexual assault. The crime scene showed no forced entry, but the house was in disarray with drawers and cabinets open. All valuable items were stolen, except for Janek's military equipment. There were several failed arson attempts and offensive graffiti on the walls. No shell casings or other evidence were found at the scene, only 3 distinct shoe prints, linked to a specific brand of sneakers. The police suspected an experienced criminal gang due to the scale of the crime and the number of shoe prints. The motive was likely financial gain or revenge. Since the security alarm system did not trigger and there was no damage to doors or windows, it suggested that the criminals were known to Janek and Sienna. Further investigation into the graffiti revealed no evidence of racial hatred, as an initial hypothesis indicated. Instead, these writings appeared to be a cover-up attempt after failed arson attempts. The police then focused on stolen credit cards, which led them to a suspicious man who withdrew $400 from an ATM near the military base using gloves and a blue handkerchief. The Riverside Police Department sought assistance from Naval Criminal Investigative Service, NCIS, part of the U.S. Department of Defense, responsible for investigating crimes involving Navy and Marine Corps personnel. NCIS detectives concluded that the thief was likely a current service member, due to the stolen items and Janek's military equipment remaining untouched. Investigation revealed that Janek often boasted about his wealth, which attracted attention from fellow Marines. His strict training methods led to resentment among new recruits, particularly from Private Miller, who had been shot after the incident, but claimed it was an accident. Miller's inconsistent statements and possession of items matching the crime scene evidence led to a raid on his home where police found stolen jewelry, Janik's military uniform, and shell casings. Miller confessed to involvement in the robbery, but denied murder, implicating John Sexes and Kevin as accomplices. Further investigation revealed more evidence linking all four suspects to the crime. The motive was retaliation against Janik for denying Miller a promotion. On the night of the incident, Miller and his team attempted to rob Janik's home, leading to a brutal assault and murder due to frustration over not finding the promised wealth. In 2013, 5 years after their deaths, the main culprits were sentenced to death, while Kevin received 2 consecutive life sentences without parole.